Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first conversation on this channel. Today's episode is going to be a room with Toni. Toni got diagnosed with cancer just at the age of 13. She's now 57, and the next hour and 45 minutes is going to be her sharing what that experience has been like for her. It's a long episode, but diluting it or cutting it short would be a complete injustice to her, so I left it as it is. She's given me a lot, and I hope she can give you guys something too. So please give it a watch and listen and enjoy.
Well,
Here we are.
there we are. Thank you, Toni, for doing this today.
That's it. You're very welcome.
So let's just start by, how old were you when you got diagnosed?
Right, so I got diagnosed, I was 13 and a half. So, I was at school, I was in the third year 9 in today's terms of senior school. So, at the age where a lot's going on, you know, you're just sort of realising who you are. You're not a little girl, you're not really anything at that age. You know, you're just starting to recognise boys. You're liking boys, you're liking what you wear, what you look like. And then all of a sudden you're diagnosed with this illness, and I wasn't actually told a lot. It's not like today's children. I was only told that I was sick, really. And then you're taken away, in my case, I was in hospital I went in the April, I come home for my weekend for my birthday in the July, and then I was into the November. So, and it was all in isolation as well. And so I didn't see anybody really. So it's quite different. It was quite a strange age, I think. But yeah.
What did you get diagnosed with?
So I was diagnosed, first of all, with thrombocytopenia, which is a blood complaint. And then I was diagnosed with severe aplastic anemia. My mum and dad were told that my bone marrow completely shut down. And without a transplant, I had 6 weeks to live. And they told my parents, and I can't remember what one it was, that any little cells that were being made were cancerous. So I would have got leukemia, but my bone marrow, aplastic anemia and leukemia, but my bone marrow had shut itself down, and there was a few cells made, and they were cancerous. So they told my parents, without a transplant, 6 weeks to live.
6 weeks to live?
Yeah.
At that age, what goes through your mind?
I didn't know.
Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know. No, my parents didn't tell me. And to be honest with you, I think children are told too much today, and I'm glad they didn't tell me, because at that age you don't really understand death. You don't really understand what that really means. I don't think. And if they'd have given me a choice, if they'd have said to me, right, we're going to take you in a room, we're going to lock you away, we're going to give you all this medicine, you're going to be really, really sick for weeks and weeks and weeks, your hair's going to fall out, you're not going to be allowed to see any of your friends, what do you think? I'd have said definitely not. Because you can't see past today at that age. So to be not told, I think, was the right thing.
I think you're right as well. I don't even know what I would think. And especially at that age as well.
Yeah, so because you think you know everything at 13, 18,
Yeah.
you actually know nothing.
You know nothing. Like the amount I've learned over the last 10 years of my life, since the age of 20, or even from being diagnosed at the age of 23. Infinite amount.
So what was you diagnosed with?
Acute myeloid leukemia.
Okay, and how did they diagnose you? What was your symptoms before?
Well, I thought it was COVID at the time.
Right.
I used to go to football like once or twice a week.
Yeah.
And it got to a stage where every week that passed by, I'd get out of breath even more, and I'd get injuries. And I got a really bad back injury as well, which led to sciatica. And I remember like stretching and yoga every day just to get myself back to normal. But I didn't realize it was my bones weakening and my respiratory system just weakening as well. And it got to a stage where I started getting heart palpitations, and the minute I did, I knew something was up. But I didn't think it was going to be cancer. So I went to A&E And a couple of hours later, I was diagnosed straight away. 3 days later, I started my chemotherapy treatment.
Wow. So did you not get any of the bruising?
No bruising.
Oh, okay.
No bruising. The only signs were the shortness of breath and then the heart palpitations.
Wow. See, I was diagnosed because I thought it was just where, you know, I was turning from a child into a little girl, just like my periods and all that sort of stuff. And I was really active like you, so I played all sports. I had trials for, I played netball for Kent, and I had trials for England coming up for netball.
Wow.
I was really good, I was a really good swimmer.
God.
And we used to ride our bikes from my house to my nan's, which was halfway to school, and then walk the rest of the way. And I started feeling dizzy riding the bike to my nan's, and I'd have to sit down. And I was tired all the time, and I started to get these big bruises, and I had red dots between them. And a friend of mine, my best friend, Deb, I used to be at her mum's a lot, and someone she knew, his little boy died of leukemia. And we had our tops off one day, and she said to me, what's all them bruises, show your mum? I was like, yeah, but I didn't. And she come down to see my mum that night and said to her, I think you need to look at Toni. She's covered in these bruises. So my mum come upstairs and she was like, take all your clothes off. I was like, no. She said, take your clothes off. She was like, oh my God, who is beating you up? I was like, not really the type to be beat up. No one's beating me up. And she was like, okay, we're going to the doctors then, because something's definitely happening to you. And I went to bed and I woke up with a black eye. So she was like, yeah, it's definitely something wrong. We went to the doctors, and they did blood tests. And they said to my mum, bring her back in 3 days or whatever. And we got a phone call later that afternoon, and I was taken into hospital. That's how I was diagnosed.
Oh my God. So you went into hospital, or did you start treatment straight away?
No, so I went into the local hospital, and they diagnosed me with, first of all, they thought I had glandular fever, which is quite common apparently. And then they thought I had thrombocytopenia, which is a complaint of the platelets, which is why I was bruising. And then I sent to London, sent to the Middlesex Hospital, where they diagnosed me properly. And then I was sent to the Hammersmith to have my transplant.
And how long was you in hospital for?
So I went in April, and as I say, I come home in July. My birthday's in July. I come home for the weekend for my birthday, and I picked up an infection, and I was really unwell. And then I went back, and then I was in till November. I was actually in isolation all that time as well.
At that age as well. What were your parents thinking?
So my mum lived with me, which was really hard for her, I think, because I got a brother, so she had to leave him. And he wasn't the type to be left, whereas I quite liked going to my aunties for the weekend, going to my nan's, going here, there, and my brother wasn't like that at all. He liked to be at home.
How old was he at the time?
So Trevor was 11.
Okay.
I was 13, so he's 2 years younger than me. So that's quite hard for my parents, I think. And then obviously, like, I remember, like, obviously we've talked about this, and she said, like, my dad said, like, one day he left me and I was in I was quite well. So he left me and went to, because he was still working, and he come back the next day expecting me to be all right, and I'd gone into a coma.
How long was you in a coma for?
I was in a coma for 3 weeks. It's because I'd had a heart attack as well, because I don't know why, I can't remember why, but I had a heart attack and I was in a coma, and they thought I was brain dead, because my parents talked about bringing me home then to die in my own bed. I know they talked about that.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, I think, when I had it might have been when I actually had the transplant, because I was allergic to it, because Trevor was A and I was O, blood groups. So I was the first type patient that they ever changed the blood groups for.
Oh, is it?
So when they did it, I had a massive fit, I had a heart attack and I died. And I was dead for 7 minutes. So they brought me back, and then I went into a coma.
What on earth?
And I know, like, my dad.
And that was at age of 13?
Yeah. And my mum actually, my uncle had to go and find her, because my mum walked out the ward and she just kept walking. and my uncle found her in West London because I don't think she
Brain
could
completely
cope.
shut off.
Yeah, and my dad stayed with me, and apparently he shouted at me, and he said like, "Wake up, as I'm going, I'm never coming back." And he cried. I'd never cried, and he said I woke up, and I opened my eyes and said to him, "Daddy, cuddle me." And he couldn't because my nerve endings were still alive. But he said, "You turn the corner then." But obviously, you have stuff all the time. But I was lucky, unlike you, that was diagnosed in 2020, that I did have my family there. Well, my parents, just my parents. I wasn't allowed to see anyone else.
That is, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine. Like, what was that like for you after having a heart attack and coming out of a coma?
It was really strange because I remember waking up and saying to my mum, because there was a programme on at the time called The Sullivans. I'll move that. And I remember waking up and saying to my mum, "Well, what's happened to The Sullivans?" So I've lost that time frame completely.
Oh my God.
Because I woke up thinking it was when I went to sleep,
Yeah.
basically. But it must have been really hard for my parents, I think, because I know my dad, the night before I had my transplant, because they thought I might die having it because of the difference in our blood groups, they weren't compatible. And my dad said to my mum, "I don't want her to have it." My mum said, "She is having it." And he said, "But she could be dead this time tomorrow." My mum said, "But without it, she'd be dead this time in a month."
And it's worth that risk.
It's worth that risk. But my dad said, "But she could die tomorrow." And my mum said, "Yes, I know she could. But we've got to do it." And then, as I say, when I went into the coma, my parents decided that they would wrap me up in a blanket and bring me home and let me die at home. Because she said, "I'd have brought you home and let your nan and granddad and all your cousins and people I loved in to see me." She said, "And it would have killed, the journey home would have, the germs and that would have just destroyed me, killed me anyway." But she said, "I wouldn't have left you in hospital, you'd have come home." And I agree with that, to be honest. So I think in a lot of ways it's harder for my parents than it was for me, unlike you. So what's yours?
No, I think it's harder for, I think it's just as hard, well, especially for my parents as well. I think not having control, like seeing your son in hospital, like the way I was, it's and then having everything completely out of control, them surviving completely out of control, and then because it was COVID as well during the time, them not being able to see me for a long time. Like the only time they did was when they got to stay with me for a couple of days because I almost died. Like, as much as I think to myself, "Oh, I've been through it," it's like they still had to carry on with their lives and worry about me at the same time. So I think they felt just as...
No, I mean, it's easier for me than it was for you, because you were in the prime of your life. So you were 23 years old. So you were a young man. So obviously you was told everything that was going on. It was all down to you to make them choices and decisions, and you're at the stage of life where you should have been out clubbing and meeting women and drinking and falling in at night and doing all the things that
I'm not sure my parents would agree with that, but...
but doing all the things that young men do.
Yeah.
Whereas I was still...
You're trying to live your best life. When you get diagnosed young, it's like...
Yeah.
You get accustomed to that life, and even like it is still difficult for anyone, but it's like at the age of 20, like, or 23, you're trying to live your best life. It's like, it's supposed to be the peak of your life,
Yeah.
as everyone would say. So it's a complete switch. Whereas when you do get diagnosed young, it's like you do become, I guess, accustomed to the way, and I think you find it a bit mentally easier.
Definitely, because I don't really remember life
before.
I've got a few memories, but I've spoken to a counsellor about this actually, and they said, like, when you have such a trauma very young, your brain shuts it off. So although I'm telling you these stories and I know they're true and I know it's me, it's like I'm talking about somebody else because your brain shuts it down.
Yeah.
Because you're so young, you can't cope with that.
Yeah.
So you shut it off. I mean, obviously you don't as you get older and you understand what's going on then. But so I've got very few memories of before I was sick.
Okay. When you came out of hospital, what was it like going back to school?
I only did the second bit of my 5th year, so year 11. I only did the last 3 months. But it was really weird because like I remember going out with my friends, and we're still friends now. My best friend is actually married into my family. But I remember going out and we went back to school and I was like, I'd outgrown them in a lot of ways. Like I remember going out, the first time I went out, I went to a disco, a youth disco. I was about 16 or whatever I was, 16 or 15, coming up 16. And we went to this youth disco and the girls were throwing crisp packets over the toilet to each other filled with water. And I was like, that is not funny. So I did miss out on that bit of my life because I was never really a teenager.
Because you had to grow up too fast.
I went from a child to an adult.
Yeah.
Because I had to grow up so quick that then, like, so when I met my husband, I was 16, he was 21, which is quite a big difference at that age. But I was more comfortable with people that were older than my own age.
You was more mature.
Yeah. So I never, and then when I had children of my own, I didn't kind of grow up. I couldn't get the teenage bit because I didn't do it. So I didn't really, I didn't understand. But yeah, I think it's quite sad you miss that bit of your life. Do you know what I mean? Because it was really difficult, and obviously I'd lost a lot of schooling, and they wanted me to go back 2 years at school, and I wasn't going to do that because it would have meant being in my brother's year.
Okay.
And I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be with my friends. And then I wasn't allowed to play sport, which I was really good at. It was just it was hard.
It was difficult.
It was difficult. It was really difficult. And obviously you go back to school and like I'd lost a lot of weight. I was about 4 stone and I had a tiny little bit of hair. Looked like death warmed up. and all your friends are like, oh, what's this, what's that? And not necessarily your friends, but other people. Do you know what I mean?
And especially people around that age as well. They have no idea. They don't understand.
No. And they got no filter, so they'd be like, why haven't you got hair? Because of this. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's just really, but even teachers, I remember once when I went back to school, in the 4th year actually, so in year 10, I only went for a week because it didn't work. But I was so ill, but I was so pining being with my friends that the hospital and my parents decided that I could go back to school for a few hours a day, and I was taken by taxi, and my best friend wasn't allowed to leave me, and I wasn't allowed out to play, and I wasn't allowed to do that. Do you know what I mean? And like we were in a block where they do the metalwork and woodwork and stuff, and it was break time, and one of the metalwork teachers come out and he said to me, and I had trousers on, I weighed 4 stone at the time and as tall as I am now, and it was no hair, black with GVHD, no eyelid. I looked as what I was, a sick child. And he was like, why are you inside? I said, I'm not allowed out to play, sir. He said, well, why are you in trousers? Because I've not been well. What makes you so special? Get out and play. I said, I'm not allowed. So I said something to my best friend, and she was like, oh, she's had leukemia and blah, 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 and she's not allowed out to play. And he said, well, why are you here? She said, well, because Toni fits, and she's not allowed to be left, so I have to be with her. And he said to me, oh, you're not so special. And he made my friend go out to play.
Oh my God.
And I got so upset it made me fit, because I used to fit a lot. So they had to call an ambulance and I was sent home. And then my dad went up to school with a wrench and was going to brain the teacher.
Oh my God.
Because my dad was really, really, really angry.
Yeah.
Because his teacher was, you didn't need to be told that I was a sick child. And his teacher was like so horrible.
I really don't get people. Like, how do you see a sick child and then them tell you have leukemia as well, and then they still don't process it in their heads that, oh, this is the reason why. Teachers are supposed to be carers as well, in a sense.
Yeah.
Let me care for this person, see if they're okay. Instead, just completely ignored everything you just told him.
Yeah, no, I mean, my parents have been up there and spoken to the head of year and the headmaster, and do you know what I mean? Said, like, I've had a transplant, I'd had my transplant, blah, 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 blah. She's really too sick to be at school, but we think for her mental health, just a couple of hours a day might do her good to be with children of her own
Other
age,
people
of my own age. And to do that then, you know, I mean, luckily my dad didn't find the teacher, but he'd been up on a murder charge because he was so angry. Because it put me back. I was in hospital for a couple of days then. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it is hard. You know yourself when you're young, your peer group moves on without you.
Yeah. No, the world is gonna keep spinning. Like, no one stops for you. You just gotta live your own life and do what's best for you.
Whereas I think when you're older, yes, the world still spins, but you're not on such a fast treadmill. Whereas when you're young, sort of between 0 and 20, or even 25, you're still young, you're still developing, and your life is very quick. Whereas when you're older, and you've got your partner, and you've got your family, and you've got your work, and you've got your responsibilities as such, life slows down. So the treadmill still turns, but in a different way. Whereas when you're young, like you was, like I was, you know, your friends move on. They move on a trajectory that goes completely different to yours.
Yeah.
And you can't understand each other.
Yeah. Not many people still have friends from back in school. Like, a lot of friends I met when they're older, like at uni or at work. It's to have friends that you keep in touch with since like the age of like 5 or 6 or even 10, 11. It's pretty rare nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky, as I say, my best friend's been my best friend forever. We've been best friends since we were 2.
Oh, wow.
And we went all through school together, and then she married into the family.
Oh, my God.
So we're still best friends. And we got back in touch with our school friends about 5 years ago, with our group of school friends, and that's been really nice. And they do kind of remember what happened. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it is nice, because when people meet you and you look a certain way, they go, well, I don't get it, you look all right to me. Yeah, I do, most of the time. Bit like yourself. I think you look very much better today, but you weren't last year.
Yeah. It's a very like vicious cycle. It's very up and down, especially with the GVHD. It can be quite difficult because it affects my skin and it affects my hands and my feet most. So there are times where I'm not able to get out of bed, and I don't have the energy for it as well. But even like getting to the bathroom is a mission in itself. I remember when I fell in well with sepsis and I lost the skin on my hands and feet, and I'd walk to the bathroom and there'd be a pool of blood, and then my mum would have to clean it up in the morning. And that was my life for months.
Yeah.
So it can be very, very difficult, and it's like, as much as people see me outside and they can't tell a lot of people can't tell I have cancer now, and like I'm doing a lot better, but
well, you haven't got cancer now, have you?
Oh, not cancer. So I'm in remission, but it's the GVHD that really, really does affect me.
I don't know about you, but did you think you would have the transplant, it's leukemia or whatever, transplant better?
Yeah, so that's what a lot of people think. And everyone's naive to the fact that, there are complications after. And
occasionally it happens, but not very often.
Not very often.
No.
Not very often.
And GVHD is a huge problem.
Yeah. So for others to understand, especially family and friends as well, to understand that, you've had your transplant, you're in remission, everything's better. It's not. Like, You got diagnosed at the age of 9. You've been going through all of this. How old are you now?
I'm 57.
57.
Yeah.
And do you think a lot of your friends and family truly understand what you go through on a day-to-day?
I think my younger son has a very good idea because he's did medicine. I think my oldest son is quite intuition. He's got a very good intuition, and I will never tell you that I'm not well ever. But my eldest son especially will say to me, "You're not well today, Mum." I go, "No, I'm fine." I go, "No," and I say to him once, "How do you know?" He said, "It's something to do with your eyes." He said, "Your eyes." So I can always tell by your eyes when you're not very well. And I think my parents were very much the same. But I've always, again, I think because I was so young, I've always fought against it. So I'll never ever say I'm not well. I'll say, yeah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I might tell you lot, oh, my eyes are playing up, or because you understand, but I'd never say that to
anyone you're really, really close with that hasn't been through it.
Yeah, because it's easy, and like that's another thing my boys always say to me, on your gravestone, Mum, I'm going to have put, yeah, I'm all right. You know, because there are complications with this disease, you know, and it's not just as straightforward. You know, and GVHD, you think, oh yeah, that don't sound too bad, bit of skin. Well, it's not. Even the itching, it's not like an itch where you can scratch, because it's like an itch that's from within, isn't it?
Yeah, it is inside the skin. It's like underneath, so it's like you can't get it. So no matter how much you scratch it, it's always going to be there.
Yeah, and I've woken up, because I had it in my skin, but it cleared up with the ECP. But I've woke up with my bed sheets looking like I've been murdered, because you scratch yourself at night.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and people don't realise that it's like, oh, and scratching it doesn't make it
any better.
It makes it worse.
Yeah.
Because the more you scratch it, the more it itches in your case. So where else have you got it? Just your skin? Not just. But
well, at the moment it is my skin, chronic skin GVHD. But when I first had my stem cell transplant, I had it of the gut really badly. I was going to the toilet like over 15 times a day minimum. That was really bad, and I barely had the strength to get up and go to the toilet. For like 6-7 months in hospital, I would never ever let any of the nurses help me with going to the toilet. I'd always try to do it myself, like at least let me have that bit of dignity left. But then it got to a stage where I couldn't. I physically couldn't. So I remember asking the nurses to get me a commode, and they had to help me get from my bed to the side of my bed onto the commode, and then I'd have to go to the toilet, and that was 10 to 15 times a day.
Yeah.
At the minimum.
So was you in a room all on your own, isolated, that you couldn't leave? Was it still done like that?
It was different. So I had 3 cycles of chemo, each lasting around 1.5 to 2 months each, and then I'll spend 2 weeks at home. And just depending on the stage I am at during treatment, it would be in an open ward, or it would be in just a room by itself. But all the wards were specialist wards.
Right.
So it's everyone there was going through the same thing, really.
Wow, so that was because I didn't have stem cell, I had bone marrow, because that was in its infancy, and everyone that come into the room, you had you walked through a door. It was in a unit. There was 6 beds within the unit, but you come onto the unit and you had to walk through like a slew stuff, and then you walked into between my room there was a door, and then like a little lobby, and then the door to my room. And in that lobby, you had to wash your hands, you had to gown up. So even my mum and dad had to wear like white wellies, complete green gowns, gloves, masks.
Proper infection control.
Oh yeah. Proper infection control. And they had to, again, walk for it. So they couldn't wear their outdoor clothes in to see me or anything like that. So I looked like I had a load of marifat peas around me all the time, really, because everyone was dressed in green. Yeah, so yeah, it was completely different then.
Yeah, I mean, with leukemia, like, and going through the transplant, you have to be so careful with infections. Like, any infection could kill you.
Yeah.
I remember coming out of hospital and like going back to, oh, you think it's going to get better straight after. It doesn't. I'll get infections every other month and it will send me into hospital for 1 to 3 weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And there'll be cases where I'm very, very lucky to have survived.
Yeah.
And it was, that cycle went on for about 2 to 3 years. And I'm very lucky to have survived it all because I think my immune system's built up over time. And now I'm less likely to catch infections now. But that first few years after my
Did you
transplant.
still take immune suppressants though?
Yeah,
Immunosuppressant.
all for my skin. Like I told you earlier before we started recording, I didn't take my medication for a month and a half last year. I just got frustrated with it all. I just had enough. Like you said, you stopped taking your medication as well.
Yeah.
At one point, you just feel like you've had enough of it all.
Yeah.
And I realized a month and a half later, I can't survive without my medication. My skin completely was just falling off. I was in so much pain. That itchy pain that you have under your skin, I don't really have that itchy pain, but I get like a really, really sharp pain.
Right.
And I get that under my feet and under my hands when my GVHD is really bad. And it can be so painful. And it got to a stage where I was just rolling around in pain in bed for a few weeks. It just got really bad. And I made that decision. I need to start my medication again. And it only took about 2 months of taking my medication consistently to get back on my feet again.
Yeah. I think all long-standing patients, especially when you're young, do that. It's quite common. They did tell me that because I stopped taking one, as I say. But even after, like, see, when I first got GVHD, I had it skin, gut, eyes, mouth. And it got better. It never left my skin. And then about I started my ECP in 16, so about 2015 I went from being super fit, like really, really fit, to not being able to walk up the stairs. So I thought, something's going on here, something's definitely not right. So went up to the haematology department and everything else, mentioned it, and they were like, sent me round to the chest department, and it got into my lungs. So even after all that time, it still, so it went into my lungs, and then after that it went into my eyes, and then into my joints and tendons and whatnot. So it does, you think, oh yeah, it's getting better, or I haven't got it there, and it comes back. I've had so much, oral has been my main problem.
Mouth.
GVHD in the mouth.
I've had it of the mouth. I was lucky to only have it for a few months, and then I think it sorted itself out with after starting the MMF.
Yeah, see, I'm on MMF, but for 10 years before I started, because it was when it went into my lungs and I got another cancer in my mouth, that is when they started sending me for ECP, and that's kept it at bay, thank God. I still get it in my mouth, but for 10 years solid, I either had a cancer or pre-cancer in my mouth.
Oh my God. And in the mouth, it's difficult. You lose your appetite completely.
Yeah, I mean, when I started ECP, they said to me, what is your goal? I don't know if they said it to you. I said, I want to eat a packet of salt and vinegar crisps.
Yeah. No, honestly, because any spices, I remember I couldn't eat any cooking because any spices, it just completely destroys the mouth. Completely destroys it. I'd be struggling, I'd cry.
Yeah. Must have been hard for you in your culture.
Yeah. A lot of the time it would just be like pastries, really. Pastries, biscuits, just really, really plain foods, like soup, if I can manage, like yogurt. It's
ice cream is lovely when you've got GVHD in the mouth.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it numbs it all.
Oh, I used to eat ice cubes. Yeah. That's what I used to do. I used to eat ice cubes because I became lactose intolerant, so
Oh,
any
God.
dairy would make me feel sick.
Right.
So I would eat a lot of ice cubes just to keep it at bay, because it can really sting. It really plays on your mind, especially when you're kind of forcing yourself to eat at times because you just don't want to.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say I really eat for pleasure. I eat for purpose
Yeah.
rather than pleasure, I think. And don't get me wrong, now and again, you know, you say, oh yeah, that was a really nice meal, but I don't like, you know, like a lot of people go, oh, I could really eat this and I really eat that, and oh, that's so lovely. I think, really?
Yeah, a lot of the food does taste a bit bland when it does affect your mouth. It doesn't taste the same as it used to.
No, so I mean, I got it in my mouth at the moment, but I mean, for that 10 years, that last cancer I had because of the GVHD was really bad. And yeah, that was not good.
And how did the lung GVHD affect you?
So, as I say, I went from being super fit. So I was doing perhaps 8 classes a week, yoga, HIIT, combat, aerobic, to not being able to breathe. So, and it was like, yeah, so then when I was diagnosed and I knew what it was, I was like, okay, let's learn to do it a different way. So I walked up 1 step, and then I walk up 2. And then when I managed to get to the top of the stairs, I learned to kind of like hold your breath. And then you get to the top, you're like, but I have to do something, because if I don't exercise, my joints hurt, my tendons are really sore, and my breathing gets really bad. So I think exercise is so important.
So important. Like, even to get to the stage where I am now compared to where I was last year, you have to get up and try. Like, even with a person that hasn't got any like health issues, that doesn't properly look after their health, people need to know how important exercise is.
100. And it's not just for your physical body, it's for your mental
as well.
You know, because but I especially patience. I know I'm one myself, but I always say little. Give yourself realistic goals. Don't say, like, people go, oh, just go for a walk. Oh yeah, that's easy to say. Well, just walk to the end of your garden path and back.
It's the only way to improve. Like, you got to take small steps at a time.
Yeah, you can't.
It's the only way to improve.
You know, because it's so easy for someone to say that hasn't got any problems, well, just go for a walk around the block. Well, that's like saying, well, just go for a marathon run then.
Yeah. The mentality should be not, I'm going to run 5K, or I'm going to try to run 10K, or even I'm going to walk for a couple of hours. The mentality should be, I'm going to go for a walk today.
Even if it's to the end of your garden, or the end of the, you know, start it off, come out your door, do 3 steps and 3 steps back.
Yeah.
Go to the garden path and come back.
Yeah.
Go next door and come back. Do you know what I mean? Go and do it, build it gradually, because you've got to remember, when you've been so sick as well, you get muscle wastage. I had terrible muscle wastage. You get it's a lot of things. You're fatigued.
Fatigue is a big one as well, and the fatigue is one that I've struggled with massively, and the only way to improve that fatigue is by just to get out and exercise.
It is, believe it or not, because the more you sit, the more tired you get.
Yeah.
Even now, if I was to sit on that settee, within an hour I'd be asleep.
Yeah.
In half an hour.
Yeah.
I'd be asleep. So try not to sit down during the day.
And anyone can do it. Look, if we can get up and try and exercise, and even if it's just walking, anyone can do it. You just got to push yourself. It's just about having that mentality of getting up and doing it. And then as soon as you're there, as soon as you've taken that step outside the door, you can decide how long you want to walk for. As soon as you get yourself into a gym, you can decide what you want to do at the gym. It's just about getting yourself.
Or not even necessarily at a gym. If you don't want to go to a gym and you want to do a little bit of weight work, pick up a tin of beans indoors, and just sit and strengthen the muscles.
Yeah.
You know, stamp your legs at night just to get some blood flow, because it's very easy when you've been very sick to get into that mentality of let's not.
Yeah.
You know, and it is difficult. Like I remember, like when I got in my neck, I couldn't turn my head. That's when I started exercising properly again. That would have been about, I don't know, my children were quite small, so probably the late end of the 90s. And I went to the doctors and he said, well, how long has your neck been like that? I said, oh, about 5 years. Because I didn't bother telling anyone. I thought, it's really getting quite sore now. And they told me to exercise. So I thought, okay, I probably didn't mean to do it to the extent I did, but it's so good for you to do something. But do it realistic.
Yeah, realistically. And one thing I've noticed, stretching is just as important as exercise.
100.
Because I tell you now, if you stretch from a young age, you wouldn't have had that neck issue in the first place.
Well, yeah, you do, because if you're getting your tendons, you know, I mean, I've always done yoga and Pilates and wall Pilates and so, you know, and it did, but it does improve it.
It does improve.
Because I did stop, because I was, as I say, I was super fit, but before that I wasn't fit really at all, because I've got kids, so I was running around after them.
Tony, the mic fell. Could I just... Sorry.
That's all right.
There we go. Perfect.
So it's very difficult, but I would say to new patients that are just starting this journey, look at your goals, make them realistic, do your own journey, and don't lay in bed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's with pretty much everyone. You have to look after your body. You've got to treat your body like a temple. You've got to eat the right foods. You've got to give it its mobility and its exercise. Otherwise, it plays a massive effect on your mental health as well.
Yes.
Because mental health is really difficult as it is, even on the average day-to-day person. Like, everyone fights their own demons. When you get unwell and you become a patient and you're going through the things we go through, it gets just that much harder, because you're not just trying to live life. You're trying to survive. You're fighting against your own body to get up and to, I don't know, live, I guess.
See, I've always had the mentality, I've got to be honest, I've always had the mentality, I'm going to do what I want. I'm not saying that's right. It's worked for me. But I remember my mum and dad used to pull their hair out, because they used to say, like, you weren't allowed to go out in the sun. So I used to go out in the sun. I like the sun. My mum would be like, you can't go out there. And I'd be like, well, why did you let them save me if you're going to just make me sit indoors and wait to die? Because I'm not going to do that. You know, so I think you need to live. You know, it's like, it used to be like,
with that.
Don't go on holiday. Well, I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care what you think. I'm going to go.
Yeah. I can completely relate, because there was times where my parents didn't want me to go on holiday, or they wouldn't want me to do certain things. And yes, they're looking out for me and they want the best for me, but what's the point of living this life if you're not going to experience it? Like, as much as you are going through your issues, you really want to try to live the life you want to live.
Yeah, because it doesn't end your life. And I would also say, don't let your diagnosis define you. It's a part of you, but it isn't the whole of you.
It isn't the whole of you.
It is not the whole of you. Like, you know, yeah, you are a survivor. I'm a survivor. The people we know are survivors, but you're also Shiv. You're also a brother and a son and a friend and a rebel and whatever else you want to be. You know, like, and you've got to be able to live. Because if you wallow in a diagnosis, you will die.
Yeah.
I think.
Mentality has a massive part to play with it. If you don't believe you're going to survive, you're not going to survive,
no.
I think.
And it's okay to not be okay. You know, to have periods where you feel down or depressed, or I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. As I said, I got like that when I had that last big cancer in my mouth. And I thought, oh my God, I just wanted to be left alone to die. You know, I don't know if I said it on camera, but we did talk about it. And, you know, I had a massive one, so they had to cut my face here, They cut it here, they cut a piece of my face out, took my cheek out in my side. They rebuilt it, but when it was done, honestly, I thought, oh, lordy goldy, look at that. Nah, I'm done. But you have to pick yourself up, dust yourself down and get on with it.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it looked awful. I had 9 operations after it as well for reconstruction. And today my lip is a drawing. And I used to be really embarrassed and wouldn't eat out because food falls out of my mouth. I've got no feeling, I've got no top lip at all.
Oh,
I've only got
seriously?
half a bottom lip, the rest of it is a drawing.
Oh, seriously? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So this is a drawing. So they removed my top of my lip completely. I've only got half a bottom lip and the other half's here, which I used to reconstruct my face, all caused by GVHD.
Oh,
And I
wow.
got a tumour. I had lots of them, but that was the biggest one I had. You know, and I was too embarrassed to eat out, and I have to drink for a straw. You've probably seen me.
Yeah, yeah.
I do sometimes drink for a cup, but it spills all over me. When I go out, food does drop out of my mouth, and I used to be so ashamed. And then I thought, do you know what? I don't care. And if someone says anything, I'll tell them.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I should hide.
Yeah. You can't worry about what other people think because they have no idea what you've been through.
No, the same as you with your hair. I know your hair doesn't grow back,
Yeah.
does it?
No.
But
Yeah, I used to wear a cap all the time because I was just so embarrassed, and then I looked unwell as well, and that was also I found very embarrassing. But then, thankfully, I've learnt to live with it, and I'm very, very confident and comfortable in my own skin now. Like it takes a lot to get to that stage, especially when I was in the stage I was in where I did feel really embarrassed. But at some point, you've got to realise people have no idea who you are, what you've been through, and as much as like in today's world, everyone does judge a book by its cover. Who cares? You've lived your life. You know what you've been through.
yeah, and people do think that they've got a right to. I remember we used to have a shop when I had the big one. So the tumour was inside my mouth and it had come out. So it was here and it was all inside as well. So I had this man come in our shop and he said to me, actually I was with the first one, not the last one, because I had, in 10 years I had 5 cancers and 6 pre-cancers that they cut away from all in my mouth and around my face. And he said to me, my sister and I were in the shop serving, and he said to me, you're really pretty. He said, but that thing on your lip's really ugly. And it was cancer. And I was so shocked I didn't say anything, and just nodded my sister-in-law. And I wouldn't have even said anything, and she told my husband, because it was my husband's shop, it was our shop. So he come in the next day, this man, and it was a time when you had to buy electric through a key.
Oh,
and he was
yeah,
the only one in
yeah.
Dartford to have the machine.
Okay, yeah.
So he picked some beer up and he put it in the counter and he said, I want electric. And my husband come out into the shop and he took his beer back and he said to him, you rode here on your bike? He said, yes. He was foreign. He said, yes, I did. He said, you like your legs? He said, yes. He said, speak to my wife like that again and I'll break them. He said, now get out. And he said, but I need electric. He said, well, I don't want to serve you. And you're not welcome here. Because there was no need to say that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He didn't know what it was. As it was a cancer. You know, and you got no right to talk to people like that.
That is disgusting.
Children are different.
Yeah, because they don't know any better.
Yeah. So
They're naive.
Yeah. So if a child had said to me, what's that? Or why have you not got hair? That's okay. It's not okay when it's an adult.
It's not.
I don't think.
No, I didn't think so at all. I think it's actually very disappointing to hear that. Like people commenting and judging on someone's appearance. How can you say to someone's face, "Oh, that thing on your face looks ugly"?
Yeah, he said to me, "You're really pretty, but that is really ugly."
That's disgusting.
I was so shocked. It's
Yeah.
like, whoa. You shouldn't be saying that, you know, and my husband was not happy.
No one should be commenting anyone's appearance.
No, and it's the same as like you know, your hair didn't grow back, and that's awful. But if you'd have been a woman, you'd have probably been judged on that.
Yeah.
You know.
And people, I feel like women feel like they are, because a lot of them wear wigs.
Yeah, see, I never wore a wig because they made me itch. But again, I was so young. But I don't know if that made it worse, because I was at that age where your appearance is everything when you're 13.
Yeah, especially in today's society, appearance is massive.
Even when I was young, you know, like they gave you wigs. I don't know, do they still do that?
Yeah, sometimes they
Yeah,
do.
so we got wigs and they were like, oh, what hairstyle do you want? And it was around about when Diana got married, you know. Princess Diana was brilliant. And I said, oh, I had this side of my hair really long because it was a fashion, and this side more or less really, really short. And they were like, no, we haven't got one of them. We'll give you a Diana wig. So I was like, oh, God. So I put this wig on my head, and it was the wrong colour, it was brown, and my hair has always been naturally really, really black. And I looked like my mum. I looked like, it was like, no. And I was like, get it off. It looks ridiculous. Mum was like, you're so rude. I was like, no.
I don't want to look like you.
I don't want to look like that. Yeah, I don't want old ladies' hair. I want young person's hair. And he was like, well, we don't really do them.
Yeah.
And I was like, but nowadays they'll cut them for you. And
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then they
yeah.
didn't. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
And it was
wow.
like, oh my Lord, what are they doing to me? So you do get funny bits. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember when I was in hospital as well, I remember cyclosporin used to be a liquid.
I've had liquid cyclosporin.
It tasted, do you remember the taste of it?
Oh, sorry, I didn't have liquid cyclosporin. I had it through IV.
Right,
I had it through
there was
IV.
no IV. It was like, it tasted like petrol.
Well, the tablets taste awful, so I can't even imagine what the liquid tastes like.
Honest to God, I can still taste it now.
Yeah, I think it's the worst tasting medication I've ever had.
Oh, honestly, and the liquid, it looked like petrol, it smelled like petrol, it was disgusting.
That's disgusting. I like to smell petrol sometimes, though.
Do you? Weird. No, I don't. But they used to give it to you, and if you were sick within the hour, you'd have to take it again. So sometimes you're taking cyclosporin all blooming day. And I remember my dad, I said, I'm not taking it. I'm not taking any more. And he was like, it's really nice. I said, well, you like it. You drink it, because I'm not. And he had a glass of orange. I'll never forget, and this cyclosporin in, you know, the little pots.
Yeah.
He's going, just drink this, you can drink this. So I took the orange and I tipped it over his head.
Oh.
Now my dad was really strict. And he had all this orange juice tipping down his face, and he went, now will you take it? And I thought, he's not even shouted. Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh my
so I just
God.
took it. And it's things like that, you know, that stick in your mind, as well as the bad times.
Yeah. I mean, he could have reacted completely differently.
Yeah,
but the
well, I
fact
mean, if I had not been very sick,
Yeah.
I would have been in serious trouble.
Yeah,
But do
yeah.
you know what I mean? And it's not all bad.
No, I think, I mean, I got diagnosed at the age of 23, and the amount I've learned from my experience just going through the last 5-6 years is, I wouldn't change it for anything. I think I've learned so much going through what I've gone through, and just about life, about people, about everything, really.
I think you learn empathy
Big time.
rather than sympathy, because they're different.
Yeah.
I think I'm very empathetic. I can look at someone's situation and say, how would I feel like that?
Exactly that. I put myself into other people's perspective, and because I know what I've been through, it's like everyone judges someone based off their own experience of life, because that's the only experience of life they've had.
Yeah.
So it's like, as much as I can tell my brother, oh, I've gone through this and I've gone through that, and my skin's really hurting and I'm really, really struggling right now, he will help, but he can't fully understand, because he's judging my experience off what he's lived, and he's never experienced anything that I have. So it's like, trying to get someone to fully understand what you're going through is impossible, because they'll never ever fully understand what you're going through, but they can they can at least try. And
Yeah.
I think that's what's most important, just trying to understand.
But I think in any situation you become much more, I have anyway, become much more empathetic with people as a whole, irrelevant of what their struggles is. You know, I remember, you know, like, say I meet someone and they're a drug addict. I wouldn't say, "Oh, what a terrible thing." You know, because
What has led to them to get to that stage in their life?
yeah, and you know, no one chooses. You know, when you go for your careers interview when you're 13, no one says, I'd probably like to be a drug addict. That would be a nice idea.
Yeah.
No. So you got to be empathetic and look at them as a person.
Put yourself in their shoes.
Yeah, irrelevant of what their situation is.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't judge people, I don't think. I'd like to think I don't judge people anyway. I try not to.
I try my best not to as well. Sometimes it can get a bit frustrating when, just like even walking on the sidewalk and like you open a door for someone and then they walk past and they completely ignore you.
Yeah, so I would say, thank you.
Yeah, it's just everyone's their own person. Everyone's their own individual being. Like, treat everyone the same way you would want to be treated.
Yeah, there is some, you know, you do get horrible people in life, but, you know, and it's like patients. Most of the patients I've met are lovely. You do get them that aren't. And you do get people that are sorry for themselves. I think they're the ones that don't fare as good. They're the ones that die. Because you've got to remember how long I've been doing this and the amount of people I've seen come and go.
Yeah.
And I think it is the ones that are poor me that do die. I do, I really do. I think because the journey afterwards is far more important than the journey before.
Oh, definitely, 100%.
I think it's very easy before. Because when
You don't realise how easy it is before as well.
I mean, I don't mean before. I mean before transplant. So even when you've got the diagnosis and you're sick, you are sick. You are very sick. But it's a different journey on the other side. It's not, yeah, I'm better. It just isn't.
Yeah. So when I've talked about myself, and I've recorded an episode before this, and when I've talked about myself, I've talked about how being in hospital, like during my phase of treatment, it was probably the most freeing experience of my life, only because there was no expectations from me. There was no responsibilities that were expected from me as well. Like, my sole job was just to survive, and I was cared for and I was looked after just for existing. And it's so rare to find that outside of that hospital room nowadays. Like, just to be accepted and be fully met for who you are as a person, not for your job, not for your career, not for things, your achievements, but just being you.
Yes, I think especially with your culture, you are expected to do a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's much more pressure, and I don't think children as a whole, when I was young, were as pressured as they are today. But I just think when you've been sick, even myself, I thought it would be like when I come home, I thought actually I'm better. And you realise, I mean, actually, if I'll be honest with you, I had GVHD for a few years after I got sick and I had my transplant, and it kind of got better. And then in 1988, I got pregnant, which they told me I would never have children because of all the chemo and stuff. And I got pregnant, and my GVHD went berserk when I was pregnant with my eldest one.
That must have been so tough.
It was like, I went black. I mean, my skin was, I aged about 30 years. I looked like older than my mum, like, because my skin went really dry. You know, when it goes dry and like really, really, like, and I was itching and it was dark, and yeah, it wasn't good. And that's when it started to come back. So that's when I had to go back on all of the immunosuppressants, and because I was on a very small amount of drugs then, before I had Jack, and during pregnancy and then after. And I thought it would go away again. No, it didn't. And I've had it since then, really bad. on and off since 1989, 88.
Wow. So you've been dealing with this for such a long time.
Yeah, I had my transplant 44 years ago. 44 years.
And how would you rate the last 44 years of your life?
Would I change it? Someone asked me that the other day. One of my grandchildren said to me, would you change your life? And I said, probably not. Probably not, because I was a rebel when I was young. I'm still a rebel now.
You are.
I'm quite strong-willed. My dad always said I got leukemia to calm me down, because I was 13 and I used to think, well, I've got to be in at 9. Getting at 10, I'm going to be in trouble, so I might as well go home at 3 in the morning, do you know what I mean? At 13, I was a cow. So my dad always said that, but I think my life would have probably taken a different route altogether. I was very sporty, but I think I was also the type of child that I would have probably tried drugs. I'd have probably been quite wild. My husband, I wouldn't have met my husband because I wouldn't have been on that pathway.
Yeah.
So I'm glad my life went. I wouldn't change it. I've had my kids.
You've got grandkids now as well.
I've got grandchildren as well.
Lovely family.
Yeah, I've got a lovely family. So it's made me me. The same as you. You wouldn't be Shiv if you hadn't have had what... You would, but you'd be a different Shiv.
I would be a completely different Shiv.
Yeah.
Completely different.
You know, and I think life changes you and leads you down the way that you're meant to be. Because I think you're very inspiring to the patients at the hospital. You're very caring. You always bring people out and you talk to them. And there's a few people like it. I think Rachel's another one.
Yeah.
Rachel's very good. You know, I've met some lovely people. I don't know if you met Mandy and Mark.
I think there's so many patients there that are truly incredible and truly inspirational. Like when I'm feeling down, I think about the patients at ECP. For example, like most recently, I met El, who just started who started ECP about a month ago, and he's got an oxygen machine to keep him breathing to be able to walk. And then it really takes me back because thankfully a lot of the patients that are on ECP for a long time are doing somewhat well now.
Yeah.
He's just started, and it really reminded me of when I was really, really unwell. And then I look at it and like, oh, I've come a long way since then.
Yeah, 100%. I do think it's attitude, and I do think it's luck. I think it's the doctors you get.
Yeah, you have to be very lucky with your team.
Of everything.
It is, but what is in your control, like you can try your best for yourself, and I think that goes a long way. No matter what team you have, no matter the medication you're on, I think if you have that mentality that you're going to survive and you're going to make the most of your life again, I think that's invaluable. That's more important than anything else.
Yeah, because I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll sit with a doctor and they'll say, right, you can't do it, and I'll go to them, yeah, and I'll be thinking to myself, I'm definitely not doing that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. Is that right? I don't know. You know, like, don't go at COVID. My doctor kept ringing me up and I said to him, are you annoying everybody or just me? He said, no, just you, because you'll go out. And I actually was out walking. But I was like, I cannot sit in this house for one more minute because I'm going mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my husband said to me, oh no, you can't do that. And I was like, well, I am. I don't need your permission. So what he used to do then is probably about 7 o'clock at night, because we had passes for the hospital and that you was allowed to drive, he'd drive me down to the coast and we'd just walk along when nobody else was there. And Betsy was staying with me, my granddaughter, and we'd go down to the coast and it was lovely, lovely weather, wasn't it? And we'd just walk along, there was no people. But I couldn't just stay in this house. And my sons were going mad, and I'd said, but I can't, especially my one that's a doctor. It's like, I just can't sit here another minute because I'm going mad.
Yeah, sometimes Humans aren't built to stay indoors all the time.
We're social animals, you
Yeah.
know. Because you wouldn't have got the letters, did you?
Yeah, I got the letters.
You got the. Did you get the first one where it's stay
Yeah,
indoors, don't open a window?
Yeah.
Oh no, you was allowed to open a window. Don't interact with anyone else in the house.
Yeah, you had to isolate yourself properly.
I was like, I am not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's my time to die, I'll die. But I'm not doing that. Because I intend to hit my grave side onwards, skidding into it. I'm not sitting in a chair waiting to die. To be honest.
It's a difficult situation because you still got to be really, really careful, but you can't lock yourself away forever, especially being indoors, like with our conditions a lot of the time anyways. Being indoors is very, very difficult. Like, I know it firsthand because I was bedridden for pretty much a year and a half. Like, I would force myself to go out and to do things and to try live life. But even that in itself was a risk. And I knew it was a risk because I fell ill with sepsis from going uni and going out and about and catching infections. Like, the amount of times I got pneumonia when I was at uni was insane. And then I fallen ill with sepsis. I almost died. My consultant said I was very, very lucky to live, and that flared up my GVHD massively. But I had to get out. You can only stay indoors and shut yourself away from the world for so long. You got to build up the strength to get out again.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, you know, oh no, I won't go on an aeroplane because there's too many infections. Oh, well, I do. Do you know what I mean? It's
sometimes you have to take that step, otherwise you're trapped inside forever. And there's what's the meaning to life if you're gonna sit indoors and watch TV all day?
There is no meaning to life. When you've got your periods when you're not well, that's different to when you're feeling okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, so if you're feeling all right and you want to go and sit in the garden in the sun, do it.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that can happen? Because there's only one thing guaranteed in life, and that is that you will die.
Yeah.
That is the only guarantee that any human's got, that one day you will die.
It
doesn't matter what job you've got, how much money you've got, what you've done with your life, if you're the Pope or a murderer, everybody will die. But between the birth and the death, it's the bit in the middle that's important. So if you're too scared to actually do the bit in the middle, you might as well, you know, like say wherever part of that journey you get something that's life-changing, like a diagnosis like we had, you've got a choice to make. Because if you're going to just let that define you and you're going to just be terrified of it and all you become is a cancer, then you might as well just skip to that part.
Yeah, no, it's true.
And
I
die.
used to think about this a lot when I was just stuck in my room and I couldn't move. I would always think about what the meaning of life is, what we are, where we've come from. I've never ever lived life with a purpose. And then it's only through reflection over the last year where I've realised there isn't a purpose or life that you're born with. It's you have to build that purpose and that meaning for yourself. Like you said, you only come into this world with one thing guaranteed: you're gonna die at some point. So we're very, very lucky to be alive as it is, and then we're even more lucky to have survived what we survived. So you know that it's gonna come at some point. Make the most of your life.
Yes. And you're going to have periods where you can't leave the house, where you can't do what you want to because you are not well. And that is different from being too scared to go out of the house in case you get not well.
Yeah.
Because someone could come into your house and give you whatever and kill you anyway. Or are you going to lock yourself away completely on your own forever? And then what sort of life is that anyway? If I could speak to someone that was having a transplant tomorrow, that would be my advice. You know, you are going to have periods where you're sick and you're not going to be able to leave your house, but when you are able to live a life, live it.
Yeah.
Because if you wait to die, you will die. If you live, you will die.
But at least you lived.
But you've lived.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't change You know, I went to Thailand, I got dengue fever. I was really ill. Would I change that? No. If someone said to me, oh, you're going to definitely get dengue fever, would you have gone? Probably. Because I enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean? And it's, you weigh stuff up.
Yeah, you got to weigh it up. It is, do I want to take this risk?
Yeah, action's consequence, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the same with life all over. I mean, like with COVID, yes, I went out for a walk. Did I go shopping? No, because that would be stupid. You know,
You went to a secluded place and went for a nice walk with your family with no one around.
Yeah. So that to me was a risk that was worth doing. Right? And I wouldn't have gone near any people. Would I have gone to Sainsbury's shopping with my husband? Absolutely not. Because that would not have been a risk. That wasn't a calculated risk. That would be stupid.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have done that. Do you know what? Do you understand the difference?
Yeah.
So you got to, was I still putting myself at risk going out in the car and but I was going to treatment, same as you, well no, because you had your transplant in 2020. So I still had to go for treatment up to ECP. So going out for a walk that made me feel better about everything was a risk I was prepared to take. I did it in a sensible way. But I wouldn't have done something stupid. Would I have gone, you know, if someone said to me, oh, we're having an illegal party, do you want to come? I'd have said no.
Yeah. It's like even me going on holiday as well, it was a calculated risk. If I knew there was a good chance of me getting unwell or getting unwell when I get back from holiday, but I knew that it wasn't going to be life-threatening, or if it was, I wouldn't have gone. Like,
where did you go?
Well, after my transplant, I went Paris, and then I went Rome as well, which was really good. And those were calculated risks I wanted to take because I wanted to get out of the house. I wanted to give myself something to work towards in terms of fitness-wise. Oh, I'm going on this holiday. Let me actually get out of bed and get to a stage where I'm able to go for walks and able to do things again. I think it's really important to set yourself goals to work towards. Otherwise, you're not working towards anything. As much as, you got to work for yourself. But for example, I want to do a hike at the end of the year. That's giving me something to work towards every day.
Yeah,
when I want to pick up a chocolate or drink like a soft drink or something, I realize, oh, I'm doing this walk that I really, really want to do my best at. Let me not touch that.
But see, well, that's where we're different, because the bar of chocolate, I don't think hurts you now and again. Do you know what I mean? But I think, like, when I go abroad, in the end, my professor said to me, just go. But you have to stay in a 4 or 5 star hotel, because the only difference is conference rooms. You are not to eat street food, ever. If you go out to eat apart from in the hotel, you have to make sure it's like a proper restaurant. So he said, like, go to McDonald's, go to Hard Rock Cafe. Do you know what I mean?
No established restaurants.
Established restaurants. Do not drink do not have ice in your drink. Do not drink alcohol. And that's what I've always done. So would I go abroad and eat in like a shack? No. No. Because would I probably end up really ill? Yes.
Yeah.
So I go into 4 or 5 star hotels. If I'm like, you know, like in Africa or whatever, would I go out in Africa and go on a trip and eat goat's head from in the middle of the desert? No, I wouldn't. Because you'd probably get sick. And I always take a lot of medication with me, and I self-medicate until I come home.
Yeah.
But would I ever regret going? No.
No. I mean, I don't regret going on any of my trips either.
No. On this journey, if you could give Shiv a bit of advice at the beginning of what happened, before you were diagnosed, what would you say to yourself?
That's a tough question.
It is.
That's a very tough question. If I can give any bit of advice, it would just be not to give up. just to keep trying. I think the mental side of it is even more important than the physical side. I think both of them play hand in hand, definitely.
Yeah.
But it's like you got to take after your physical health to take care of your mental health. And mentally is the most difficult challenge anyone will ever face in their life.
Yeah. So what would you say to yourself? Look after your mental health.
I'd say
Don't give up.
I'd say don't give up, and no matter how unwell you feel, give it your best shot. You've got to give it your best shot. Because the way I look at it now, I only have one life to live.
Yep.
And I really, really, really want to make the most of my life. And you have to build your own purpose and your own meaning. And the meaning and purpose I want to build for myself is I just want to have a positive impact on people. I really want people to change their perspective, because a lot of people don't have the perspectives we do, like in terms of making the most of their life and becoming the best possible version of themselves.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be, is completely different to everyone, what the best possible versions of themselves want to be. For me, I just want to make a positive impact on people, because I think there's a lot to learn and a lot to share from not just my experience, but experiences of others, of everyone else that I've seen go through this journey. And I feel like it can make a huge impact on people's lives. And that's the reason why I started this in the first place, because it's part of the purpose, it's part of the meaning and purpose I want to build for myself in my life.
100%. What would I give myself? I'd say trust your instincts. When you know something's wrong, it generally is, like your health. You know when you're really sick. You know, like when you're not well and you can pass it off. You also know when you're really sick. I would say live your life and don't be scared to die. I would say listen to your gut, live, don't be scared, and don't let your diagnosis define you.
Yeah, definitely.
That would be my tips, I think.
I think those are very, very good tips.
I think so, because I think it's very easy to get into that. I can't. I've got this or I've got that. You know, and I think especially kids today, that they've got no warmth about them. They're being brought up that they're so mamby-pamby, they're so fragile, and you can't be. You know, children not even be allowed to tell your children off. You're not allowed to. So I think I worry about the generations coming up, because, you know, when as we spoke about, you were young, I was really young, I was only 13. You know, at 13, you're not allowed to tell your children off. You're not. How do they ever deal with something that comes along like that? That worries me, because they're not tough. Well, I was brought up tough.
I think it's different from kid to kid, really. I think everyone's family is very, very different.
Yeah, I think in general that the whole system of how things are now. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know why I think that is? I think it's because of the system itself. Like beforehand, like religion was massive, and there was like a lot of communities. Like everyone had a community that they were in, and they felt like a sense of belonging. And it's not just communities, like neighborhoods as well. It's a lot more lonely nowadays for a lot of people. I think a lot of people struggle because the systems they're in don't fully meet them. So they have to rely on their family, their friends to fully meet them and see them for who they are. But I think everyone struggles because nowadays, a lot of the time, people don't even have time for themselves.
No, I think a lot of families today, as you say, like there's not there's not a sense of I don't know. Like when I was at school, if we did something, our parents would have told us off as well. If you do something at school today, a lot of parents want to chat at the school, that sort of thing. But I just think it's very difficult to be anyone today, and then to add on top of it a serious illness. Must be so hard for youngsters today, I think. But I would still give them the same advice. And I think as well, if I could say to parents, I don't think it does the child any good to be told what they're told today.
I think
as in with your diagnosis and what's happening, and I don't think children need to know that. I really don't. But I think it's too much.
At a very young age, I think it can play a massive effect on you as a person. Well, from your experience, like your parents not telling you about you having only 6 months to live, I think that did you a world of good, because imagine
6 weeks, not 6
sorry,
months.
6 weeks.
6 weeks they gave me, yeah.
Because at that age, you don't fully understand everything, and to know you've got a deadline.
Well, even the diagnosis, do you know what I mean? I didn't know what I had until I was much older.
Okay.
So I was told I knew I wasn't well.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I was going to have the chemotherapy, I was sat down and I said they were going to give me medicine and it was going to make me better, and then my hair was going to fall out. I was going to be really, really sick and blah, blah, blah. And that was about as much as I was told. And even afterwards, when I met Martin when I was 16, that's my husband. And he asked me to marry him when I was 18 or 17, 18. Which I know is very young, but that's just the way that my life panned out. And he asked my dad's permission to ask me to marry him because he thought that was the right thing to do. And it wasn't until then really that my dad sat me down and he sat Martin down and said, look, because of chemotherapy and everything, they didn't think I'd have children. Because all women are told you can't have children afterwards.
So was he surprised?
So then my husband said, that's okay because I don't want children. I don't ever want children. And then obviously I got pregnant when I was 20. Wow. So I thought, oh my God, he doesn't even really want kids. But then he was like really happy and he said to me, but I wanted you, so I didn't want you to ever feel that I was going to miss out from not having a family. But up until the point when it became relevant to my life, my parents hadn't even told me that they'd been told I'd be infertile. Because Jack was the first child born to someone who'd had a transplant as well.
Oh, wow.
Because, so he was in all the newspapers and everything.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, on telly, yeah. His birth was announced on television and everything.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, because chemotherapy makes you sterile. I don't know if was you told. Well, yeah, everyone's told that.
I was told
and then obviously I got pregnant at 20. It was like, oh my God, yeah.
That's insane. You've been through a lot, Toni. Oh my God.
So yeah, so that was, but I just think I'd love to be able to go in, I think, and talk to young kids that are going through it, and I think, and yourself. Do you know what I mean? I just think certain people have got that way about them that, I don't know about you, but do you find even when you're, if I'm somewhere strange, even on holiday, I have people coming up to me, and I remember this lady said to me, she'd had cancer, and she said, I don't know, she said, there was just something about you that I wanted to gravitate to, and she told me a whole life story. I'd never met this lady in my life. And obviously she didn't know my story, but she just sat down on the sunbed next to me and spoke to me all about her problems and what she was going through. And I think some people have just got that about them. I think you have as well.
No, thank you. I think it comes down to listening, really. You got to take the time to listen, because people just want to be heard. And
listen to what's behind what they're saying.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when people say, yeah, I'm all right, you look and think, are you? Are you really?
Yeah, I've seen it like at my ECP patient appointments as well. Like I'll ask one of the patients, oh, how you doing? No matter what they say, I can tell they're struggling because I'm in the exact same position they're in.
Yeah, yeah. So
So-
I think this is a great thing, what you're going to do there. So what is your aim with this podcast?
I find all you guys so inspirational. Like every single one of you's give me the strength to get up every day and make that effort. And I know if it can happen for me and you guys inspire me, you guys can inspire so many other people, not just patients, but just regular people that watch these videos. And because this is not like, I don't want it to come across as an interview. I want it to be a conversation where they can actually understand what you've been through in life.
Yeah, the impact of having, because most cancers, apart from the blood cancers, are diagnosis, treatment, better, or die. That's the journey, isn't it, for most cancers?
Yeah.
Most of them, like you get breast cancer, not necessarily brain tumour, because you could have lots of different problems but not related to the cancer. But most of them, you get diagnosed, you have your chemotherapy, you have your surgery if it's needed, and you're classed as better. With blood cancers, it's have the transplant, and then a new set of problems come along that people don't really understand. Because they don't understand that you get GVHD. Does every patient get it? No. You have to have it to start with, as it means your transplant doesn't work. But it's to what extent you get it and how long if it's acute or chronic.
And how long have you become an ECP for? How long have you had GVHD for? What, 40 plus years now?
And I've been having ECP since 2016. So 10 years. And I've got up to 6 weeks for one time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've been having it for 3 years and I'm still every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm monthly at the minute, but they said over the summer I want to do it monthly, and then it probably have to go back down in the winter because of my chest. But it's a good treatment.
It is really good, and I think the community that's been built over there as well is amazing. Like, it's very, very hard to come across someone that actually understands what you're going through, and every patient's going through very similar issues, and it affects each patient very differently from each other. But
100.
They can understand that everyone's in the same boat.
We're all on the same journey. We're all at different points on that road, and some of us have to stop at the gas station more than others. And although we're on the same journey, your journey might take you 4 hours to reach the end, mine might take 3, and another person's might take 23, because we're all different. But we all go through the same sort of thing. And the nurses up there, I think the medical staff
Incredible.
as well make a lot of difference.
Big time.
Especially with ECP.
Big time.
I think the nursing staff, they're all lovely people, and they're all like, they've all got time for you.
Oh yeah, no, I love every single one of them, because you can tell with medical teams, like, who's in it for the job and who's in it because they actually care. Every single one of them care.
And I think it does. I like go. That sounds like an oxymoron, because I don't like going. Obviously, I'd rather not.
Yeah.
But I actually like going to ECP because not only is it doing me good, I like.
You get to meet.
I like I get to meet people like you, like Rachel, like Mark, like Mandy, like Lucy, like all of you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I think. I think it's really nice to be able to have a chat, and and the nurses say, like, well, especially with Mandy and I, oh my God, we can't have them two together because we just chat the whole time.
Mandy's always yapping.
Yeah, she's lovely. Do you know what I mean?
She
and
is.
We're the same age. I think she's more or less. And Nikki, and it's just lovely to be able to see all these people
from different backgrounds, live completely different lives, yet meeting in the same room every 2-3 weeks.
Yep, but we're all equals.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that I mean, a lot of us don't work. I don't work. You know, some of us are not in work. Some of us were doctors. Some of us, I never really did anything because I got leukemia too young. But that doesn't mean someone looked down on me because they perhaps was a lawyer or.
Yeah, everyone's equal in that room.
We're equals, and I think we're defined by something that doesn't define us. If that makes sense.
Because it plays a huge effect on our lives. No matter how much we don't want it to, it really does dictate our quality of life and the way we do have to live it. So it is a part of us, but again, like you said, just you can't let it define you, because you are who you are. You are Toni. I am Shiv. Like you're not a cancer patient.
No, you are a cancer patient, but you're not just a cancer patient.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't want people to feel sorry for me, ever. You know, I mean, even when I've been really poorly, like, you know, we tend to laugh as a family, to be honest. Like last year when I got the cataracts overnight that made me completely blind in my right eye through the GVHD, and I kept falling over. You know, the family were like, "Are you drunk? What's on that floor again?" Because I'd be like, because I'd just trip over myself, and you know, and we tend to use laughter as a
Yeah, everyone has their own way of dealing with it. I think that's what makes everyone different as well. Everyone deals with it differently.
See, I speak different to you what I do to a lot of people, because I'll always say I'm all right, even if I'm not.
Yeah.
Whereas
I mean, I say I'm alright a lot of the time. I mean, you see me at ECP, and I'm like that with a lot of everywhere I go really. I don't really talk about my issues, because now I don't. Before I used to, and no one would understand or truly understand, and it would upset me.
Or care.
Yeah.
Or feel like, they probably do care, but you feel like they don't.
You feel like they don't. And it really, really used to get to me. But I've learned that the hard way, that no one's ever going to fully understand. The only person that's actually truly going to understand is yourself. So you deal with that yourself and try to live your best life outside of it.
Yeah, yeah. But even when you go, like when you're with people like yourself that do understand, and they say, "Oh, hi, Toni, how are you?" I go, "Yeah, I'm fine." My eyes playing me up. Because you feel that you can say that.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's really, really good to have that community, because as much as I said, you have to do it yourself, like, you can't keep it all to yourself. You still have to open up from time to time, and that ECP community is a great way to do it. And I think there should be a lot more communities like that, where you can just fully open up and not be judged and not be looked at differently, and just we're all looked at the same level.
Yeah, I actually agree, and I think it's such a hard journey, because I think, as we've talked, I'm 40 odd years down the line, 44 years, and it's still affecting me.
Yeah.
But has it stopped me? No.
It's always going to affect you.
It's always going to affect me.
It's always going to affect you.
You know, I was hoping eventually it would calm down, but it does calm down. With ECP, it's calmed down a lot, but it still affects me. And I still get times where it sort of knocks on the door and says, "Hello, I am here," because because you get periods, I don't know about you, where you feel really quite well.
Yeah.
And you feel, this is, and then
one little infection and that's it.
You're back to square one again, and then you've got a bad eye and a bad chest, and like you started off with a sore throat, and then you wake up and when you got GVHD in your eye. It happened to me last week. GVHD in my eyes, my chest was really bad. You think, oh, okay.
It's the hard bit of picking yourself back up again.
So you just think, oh well, whatever, and get on with it. But you still have to acknowledge that it is there.
And there's always going to be down times. Like, I still get it now and then. And I remember once when I was feeling really down, I had to call you to be like, Tony, I don't know what to do. I feel so stuck. But you can't let those moments define you. You just got to pick yourself back up and keep going again. And you'll thank yourself for it when you are feeling better.
Yeah, see, I'm really, really lucky. I've never really been down. And as I said to you before, and I've said this to so many people, I do think it's easier for me because I don't remember life before. So it must make it easier, I think. Whereas you remember life before. I don't. Not really. As I said to you, I've got so few memories of being little or being even 13, and people have got memories from being 13. I don't seem to have it many, really.
And if you was to describe the mentality you've built or you've had to just keep going, how would you describe that?
I would say, because I was so young, I've been like, yeah, it's all right, I'll be fine. And I've always thought, well, I'm going to do it. I'll deal with the consequences if it happens. If it don't, fine. If it does, we'll deal with it. Because I always wanted to live my life, especially when I had children. I wasn't going to be the mum that sat on the side saying, I can't do that because I had cancer, because I was their mum. So I wanted to go out and do bike riding and go swimming and play football and do all the things that I wanted to do as a mum. And when I was a teenager, I wanted to be a teenager. You know, I mean, I was different to my friends, as I said, because I was quite grown up. But I still wanted to go out and, like, I remember I started smoking when I was 18. It didn't last long, but I wanted to smoke because I don't know why I wanted to smoke. And it's stupid, and should I have done it? No, but you are reckless at 18.
You live and you learn. That's what life is. It's an experience, and you're not always going to make the right decisions. But if you make a wrong one or a decision you regret, you learn from that.
Yeah, so I made that decision as a teenager, not as a cancer patient teenager. And I think that's the difference between me and a lot of people. I sort of, that's the background. You know, like my husband said to me, oh, do you really think we should go to Africa? And I was like, yeah, well, yeah. He said, but you could get really ill. I said, yeah, but I could get ill going to Cornwall. Because India's on my list, I want to go to India. But I won't be going to Delhi. I'll be going to Goa.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's, do what you want to do, but be sensible about it. Is what I would say. I don't know, yeah. I think that, do what you want to do, but that's my mentality. I'll do what I want to do.
Okay. I think it's a good mentality to have because, like we said, you can't just sit indoors forever. You've got a life to live.
Yeah, but as I say, but within the realms of being
sensible.
Yeah. You know, so if you want to go abroad, go abroad. But don't be stupid. Don't be going and eating in a place where you can have your dinner for 10 pence.
Or don't be clubbing.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Or don't be going out drinking what you don't know what you're drinking. Don't.
Be sensible within your means. You know what's right for your body.
Yeah.
You know what your body can handle.
Yeah. So, you know, I would never ever eat except for in a hotel or in a really high class restaurant. Like when we was in Thailand this year, for instance, there was restaurants down the beach and they were like in shapes, but they were within a 5-star resort. And we looked at the food and we ate there because they were like little beach restaurants. And we did eat in them and they were fine. Do you know what I mean? But would I go into a town where they were on the street and they were cooking? No. You know, there's no proper kitchens and hygiene and stuff like that. So I just think, yeah, that would be my thing, I think.
Okay.
Because no one sits on their deathbed going, oh dear, I really shouldn't have done that. But they will sit on your deathbed thinking, why did I never?
You do think about regrets massively.
Yeah, I think so, and I think.
I mean, I did when I was on my pretty much on my deathbed. I think about a lot of the things I did regret in life, and I wish I did, or wish I made an effort to do, especially at that age as well, because I had lived life, but I was still a young man, and I really thought about what I would want to do if I was better, and I've really tried to do it, but even then I did struggle, because I never ever came out of hospital with like a purpose or a meaning, and I don't think you do. You just have to build it.
I think your purpose, as you said, and rightly so, when you're that sick, is to just be.
Yeah.
I don't think because you had cancer that it should make you want to be some whatever do great things in life, or I think you just need to be you. Do you know what I mean? And like, I really wanted to be a nurse. I couldn't do it, unfortunately. But I don't think it's about pleasing others anymore. It's about pleasing others.
But you got to look after yourself. You got to look after yourself first.
You have, and it's all right to say like, oh well, I was expected to do this, or I was expected to do that. Do what you need to do for you. Because I think having something like leukemia or any of the blood problems, it's not as easy as a fix.
Yeah.
It's not a one.
There's a lot of complications to it. A lot.
Because it's the only thing that goes right around your body.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I've got problems with lungs, kidneys. Do you know what I mean? But
it's tough. If you had one thing to tell anyone who's watching, what lesson would you give to anyone that's watching from your experience of life?
I would say it's okay to not be okay. But remember to always pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward, be it a pigeon step or a mighty step. And just move forward. But in the periods where you're not okay, that's also okay. And that would be the one thing I would say to anyone, really. How about you?
Just to keep fighting.
Yeah.
Keep fighting. And when you do feel better, make the most of it.
Yeah, perfect. I would say, yeah, very good.
And is there anything else in your mind you want to say?
No, I think we've just about covered it all. I just think for those on the beginning of this journey and for the families, remember there is always light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes. As long as you believe there is.
Yes.
There will be.
Yeah. And, the journey does get really, really dark, but just hold on to that speck of light at the end.
Yeah, definitely.
Whatever that end might be, do you know what I mean? Because it doesn't mean to say you're going to be fully recovered, but your new normal, life's great.
It is. Yeah. Even with everything that I've been through, I still believe life is just so beautiful, and we're so lucky to be here. So try to make the most of your experience.
Yeah, the people around you, the family, your friends, your loved ones. Yeah, just, having your kids, if you haven't got a family, but I have, you've got children.
Yeah.
To have them and to watch your grandchildren. So it doesn't matter what you go through. So yes, that's what I would say. Just, there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
No, I think it's a good saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Sheik. I hope
Toni.
this helps people when you've
yeah, well, I hope so
sorted it
too.
all out.
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, you'll have to keep me informed about what other people do.
Yeah, I will. I'll let you know how it goes.
Perfect.
Hopefully it does help people.
Perfect.
All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Toni.